right. Yeah. Here we are, Dr. Quack Podcast. Holy cow, first one of the year, and here I am. Yeah, just throwing some beats down, it's what I do. But yeah, got a lot of things to talk about. Happy New Year to everybody. It's the first official one of the Dr. Quack Podcast in 2019. Oh my goodness. I'm telling you, it's already been a wild year. Over 9 days have already passed. And I have a lot of topics to cover here. And first, I just wanted to send my condolences to the family of Mean Gene Okerlund and, a lot of the fans who remember him. I mean, one of the all-time legendary announcers, if you needed somebody to cut a promo with, that was the guy. And you made it. I mean, Hogan, Savage, so many others, that cut a promo with him. Bobby Heenan, his best friend, in there, and him and Gorilla, doing color commentary occasionally. But you always notice that it was, quality. That's what we're missing today in professional wrestling, in my opinion, is quality. And there's a lot of quality when it comes to Mean Gene Okerlund. He always gave it his best foot forward and always made a great promo for whoever he was cutting the interview with. So, yeah, I just wanted to cover that first. But, first thing I got to talk about here after this. So this really kind of got to me. Excuse me, a little bit tired here. Getting over a little bit of a cold. But someone asked me, why do I do this? Why do I cut videos? Is it for, fame, fortune? Is it because I'm an attention whore? Or is it a bunch of other stuff? The reality is, I enjoy this. This is something that I've always wanted to do. I love talking. I love the camera. I'm not really, shy from it at all, as most people know me. But, it's something that I love to do. I love to be able to talk about things. I love to get other people's opinions. I love to embrace debate. That is always something that I feel, because if we all agreed on the same thing, it'd be a boring world. That's why I love people that have different thoughts, ideas, things like that, because, it means, hey, I could be wrong on something. You could be right on something, or vice versa. I actually could be right on something. That's going to be a rarity, but it happens. So, that's why I do this, to the people that come out there and ask me why I do it. It's just something I love to do. And I get to do it once a week generally, because my day off. And what's today? Wednesday. Yeah, it's generally nice and peaceful and quiet. It's beautiful. So, let me break down here. Let's change subjects. First off, breaking news. Breaking news. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Oh, my God. Freddie Kitchens is now the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. Offensive coordinator, has never been a head coach in high school or college or the pros. So Cleveland, they're starting to scare me here. They look like they were on the right direction. I don't get it. They went 7-8-1. I would almost call that a 500 season, and definitely for them, call it a great season. Because where were they at before? They were the number one seed. They went 0-16. And then they're going to go, here, let's hire a guy who has zero coaching experience. It seems like everybody wants the young offensive coordinator, either from college or from the pros, and they want to go, let's make him a head coach. And, this is, I think, is a step backwards for Cleveland. I feel really bad for them because, they're a franchise that deserves to go out there and be able to, win games. I mean, good God, they have a fan base, feel bad for the people of Cleveland who's been suffering through this. They even had a parade at 0-16, but they deserve a winning franchise every once in a while, right? Just like every other team, right there. So, we got that one, and then we got LaFleur over here. This is the other jacked up pick, Peter LaFleur, as I always like to call him. Thank you, Dodgeball. Going to be the head coach of the Green Bay Packers. You know what that says to me? I'm just going to tell you. You know what it says to me? It says that Aaron Rodgers runs that team. And he needs a yes, ma'am kind of coach. Pretty much somebody's going to go, whatever you say, Aaron. That's the shit that bugs me about Aaron Rodgers. Everybody calls him so great. Oh, he's better than Brady. He's better than Breeze. He's better than Roethlisberger. Maybe better than Roethlisberger right now, but I wouldn't say overall. And any of those three. He's got one Super Bowl ring. He got one. Doesn't really mean much. I mean, last few years, he's looked like crap. I'm waiting to see him just, retire. Probably going to happen in a couple years. I mean, good God. It just makes me mad because he runs that team. And there's other, needs and probably could have gotten a better coach. Speaking of better coaches, this is my plus here. Well, hold on. Yeah, Vic Fangio, defensive coordinator for the Chicago Bears, goes to Denver. Really? Another wasted mistake. Another wasted mistake. Why? Why is everybody always hiring these young ones? It's just stupid. At least Tampa Bay, and this is my plus out of the 4 right now. Tampa Bay decides to hire Bruce Arians to Tampa Bay. I mean, that's genius. The guy can run a team. The guy knows how to run a team. Even in Arizona, he had Skelton out there and still managed to produce pretty decently, until his last year. But still, you give him the right weapons, the right equipment. It's just like any other team. You get the right players on the field. You're going to be able to succeed. And I think Bruce Arians, and now with Todd Bowlen, former Jets head coach, now his defensive coordinator. This is something that really kind of irks me. Everybody goes, oh, he sucked as a head coach. He shouldn't be in the league. Todd Bowles is going to be a great defensive coordinator. He's a great defensive mind coach. I think, and it's like me with my wrestling days. When I went up and I told my agent, I said, look, I'm not a head coach. I'm an offensive coordinator. If you give me a certain task, I will get it completed. And that's what I did for him. And, it's like you don't put too much on one person. And Todd Bowles, probably going to be pretty well. I'm thinking there'll be a top 10 defense next year. That's my guess. It's my prediction. Hold me to it later in the year because we got plenty of months to go. But, Tampa Bay will probably be turned around more than people think. So, and there's 8 coach vacancies out there. Now it looks like there's 4. So it ought to be interesting to see who else gets hired here. Jim Harbaugh says he's not coming out of Michigan, which who could blame him? That's a job right there that I would want. He's making big bank, got boosters on his side. Why would you do otherwise? So, let's continue on here. Now we've got, my favorite part of the season outside of Black Monday, which is all the coaches being fired, and probably the NFL draft, the playoffs. The playoffs are here. We are down to divisional round weekend. You look at this, and let's break this down here. First game coming up, Colts at Chiefs. Colts are 10 out of 11 the last 11 games. They have won 10 out of the 11 last games. They have looked sharp. Last week, they beat the crap out of the Texans at home. Kansas City Chiefs have done really well, throughout the regular season. They've had some struggles. They had to play Baltimore. They barely beat them. They had their losses to the Rams. If you noticed, they've had major losses to good teams. Patrick Mahomes, he's lost to Rivers. He's lost to Brady. He's lost to some good teams. So it'll be interesting to see if he can overcome Andrew Luck, a well-accomplished quarterback. I think this one will be close. I'm still going to take the Chiefs just because, but I expect this probably within a field goal. I'm going to take the Chiefs just because it's at home. It's in Kansas City. But honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if there was an upset either. But I'm going to pick the Chiefs on this one. Here you go. What's that? Yeah, New England right there. The Patriots versus the Chargers. San Diego, pretty much if they weren't in the AFC West, would have hosted a playoff game. Tough as nails. Phillip Rivers, even last week, He didn't look too bad. He played a very tough defense in Baltimore. Came out on the winning side of things, because they came back towards that fourth quarter. I mean, what can you say? Lamar Jackson, he gave his heart out on it. But, everybody's like, we should have put Flacco in there. No. You got to move on. You got to move forward. Flacco's going to be good for some team. And there's a lot of teams out there that may pick him up, including Pittsburgh. Don't forget that, because Ben has been reportedly talking about retirement. So we'll see what happens there. But anyways, Patriots-Chargers, going to be a great game. Everybody's like Tom Brady. He's losing his edge. He's going to be close to retirement. Come on, man. Look, he might retire after the season, maybe next. You still got to thank him for everything he's done as far as the Pats fans go, because he's the GOAT. It's what he's done. He's got 5 rings and so many records. And, I'm not even going into that. But this game here is going to be really, a close one here too, I think. I think the Pats win it, just because it's on the road. Even though San Diego's 7-0 on the road outside of Los Angeles, 8-0 if you want to count the playoff win against Baltimore. But I'm still going to take the Pats, and I'll take them probably by a touchdown. I just really feel like they're going to, control the ball. They're going to run down the field. They're going to be able to make things happen. So then we have the Eagles versus the Saints. I love how everybody messages me. There we go. Sorry about that. Wow, see, look. Getting blown up. So, Eagles-Saints. Yeah, let's get into that one here. I mean, the Eagles returning Super Bowl champions. You don't get to see that often. Usually the team that wins the Super Bowl generally has had problems. Definitely a team that loses the Super Bowl really has problems. But both teams are here. And they get to take on Drew Brees and that lightning offense over there. Kamara over there, many wide receivers. You're talking probably, one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the league right there. Going against Saint Nick Foles. Can he pull the magic again? This is in New Orleans. And New Orleans last couple weeks hasn't looked great. They lost to the Cowboys. I'm still going to take the Saints. I'm going to take them. I just really feel it. I mean, Eagles fans, it's going to be close. I mean, you can't have that kind of performance against the Bears, and you should have lost that game due to the field goal. Thank God for Parker over there, Parkey or whatever the hell his name is, kicking and hitting the goalpost and missing it and winning by a point. So your hopes are alive. But, yeah, I'm going to go with the Saints here, and I'm going to go with them convincingly. I'm going to put them at least a 10-point spread. I think they take it by 10. That's my thoughts here on that. So, Cowboys versus Rams. God, America's team are actually back in the playoffs, and they're going over to Los Angeles. I mean, you look at it. You've got, Ezekiel Elliott over there, Dak Prescott, the dynamic duo. Of course, they got one on the other side there, too. Thank you, Todd Gurley. Yeah. I'm telling you, all these running backs here, this is going to be a great game to watch. Probably the most high-scoring game, in my opinion. I think this will be, unless the Rams decide to actually wake up and play some defense. But I'm going to take the Rams on it, too. And yes, pretty much, if you haven't figured it out, keeping score, I'm taking the home teams. I'm taking the number 1 and number 2 seeds. I don't see any upsets this week. Yeah, I do see close games. I see competitive games. I don't see any upsets this week. There might be. It'll be interesting to see that. But, pretty much I've got it. Patriots taking on the Chiefs. I've got the Saints taking on the Rams. So it's going to be interesting football. And like I did in my other video where I predicted my top 5, all 5 of those teams are in right now. According to the Rigonometry scale, all 5 of those teams are in. So here we go, going down the line. We're going to move on to the WWE. Soon to be coming up here in about a couple weeks. The Royal Rumble. And God, the Royal Rumble is one of my favorite events. Outside of Survivor Series, like those two right there. Survivor Series, you get people on each team, and they're fighting each other until elimination. The Royal Rumble is every man for himself. Friend against friend, brother against brother, Enemy working together with Enemy. You never know who's going to win these things, you know. It's going to be a great one to watch. There's, you know, the men, of course, like last year, now it's updated. You got the men and the women. It's Battle Royal. That ought to be something right there. I mean, you've got, you know, both of them there. Who's going to win the Women's Royal Rumble? That's going to be tough to tell. I mean, because you've got Becky Lynch against Asuka, right? Let's put that match into perspective. That is going to be a high-profile match. Probably it might even be match of the night outside the Rumbles. I don't know, but it's definitely going to be something worth watching. I'm hoping that Asuka retains her title. I would love to see her do it. She's one of my favorites to watch work, but Becky Lynch is also one of my favorites. But I'm gonna say Asuka wins this match. There's going to be some sort of scrutiny, and it'll probably lead up to Mania. You know, I just feel that. And then, you know, you've got Ronda Rousey taking on Sasha Banks. Ronda Rousey's probably going to win this match and go into Mania. I mean, she's your box office draw when it comes to women. I mean, UFC champion, former UFC champion, Strikeforce champion. She's your draw. They're not going to take it and put on Sasha Banks. You know, it's just not going to happen. You know, but, you know, on the men's side, you know, we have Braun Strowman against Brock Lesnar. Yeah, man, I'm telling you, that's going to be one hell of a match. I mean, you're talking power against chaos. I mean, both of these guys are strong, big, powerful men. You're going to see a lot of Suplex City, I'm sure. You're going to see a lot of throws. It'll probably be a 10, 15 minutes match because just, I don't know, Lesnar for some reason can't go more than that. It's about his norm. I mean, his matches are the same, but I enjoy them. That's what's really bad. You know, I really enjoy them. A lot of people hate them, but I enjoy them. But on that one, I think Lesnar just retains the belt. It won't shock me. I'd love to see Strowman win it. That's what the fans want, but I can see the blow-off not happening there. I can see it going on to WrestleMania with Lesnar being the champ and dropping it to somebody. Whoever wins the Rumble, which Rumble predictions, I'll take Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins, I feel like it's going to win it. You know, it's probably going to be one of those, you know, where they're going to set it up, Rollins versus Lesnar, and Rollins will probably get his comeuppance on this and be able to win this. You know, should be a good one. Female Royal Rumble, that's totally up in the air. There's so many choices, but with so many of the stars not in it, you know, it's going to be interesting. I almost want to say Nia Jax just because, but, I mean, Charlotte Flair's there. Could be her. Could be a bunch of people. So this is going to be a good one to watch. I'm going to say the pay-per-view is probably going to be really good. It's WrestleMania season, as I call it. I call it, you know, WrestleMania season because right when the Royal Rumble hits to WrestleMania is the best time to watch professional wrestling. After that, it kind of dies down, it simmers down, it just feels watered down in comparison. So, okay, I'm going to move on here. It's probably one of my longer videos, trust me. I've got a lot of stuff to cover, but I actually have two more things I want to talk about. And you know, last night, as people watched, you know, Donald Trump, Nancy Pelosi, government shutdown, you know. People ask me, you know, what's your thoughts on that? What's your thoughts on that? And, you know, honestly, you know, I am not against the wall. I'm actually for it. You know, it's just, I feel, you know, you're bringing a lot of drugs into the community. You know, a lot of drugs do come down from there. You know, and of course they come from other places, no doubt. But, you know, why not? We need to stop. I'm tired of seeing family. I'm tired of seeing friends. People I know dying, overdosing. Believe me, I see a lot of it, you know, all over the country. You know, people dying from this stuff. You know, fentanyl, heroin, you know, all that great stuff there. You know, so yeah, that I'm really for that wall, you know, on that part. And just another thing, you know, why doesn't anybody, you know, nobody talks about this. Is it hard to become a citizen? I'm sure it is. You know, if you weren't born in this country, you got to take the citizenship test, you know. But you don't see other countries going, hey, just come on in. They don't. You know, they put restrictions up too. It's what America does. It's what the rest of the world does. And in some places, they do worse things if you don't belong in their country. You know, they will, you know, behead you. They kill you. They chop your hands off. They lock you in prisons. They beat you to death. America is civilized in comparison to a lot of the world, but a lot of people are taking advantage of it in the same respects. This is just something that I feel, they need to end the shutdown, definitely. But they need to work on this wall. Get it built. I mean, look, how are you going to work together? You expect Trump to just bow down and cater to somebody who's been bashing them? And do you expect, Democrats to get their way? No, it doesn't happen like that. You got to work together. So, if you want him on future projects, because who knows? Another big thing. Could he get reelected in 2020? It's possible. I mean, a lot of people like him. There's people that hate him, no doubt. But, who you run him against? I have no clue. That's what's going to be the real question there. Who is the Democratic nominee in 2020? Nobody wants to talk about it, but it's 2 years away. It really is. 2 years. My prediction should be Donald Trump taking on The Rock as Stone Cold Steve Austin as the moderator. Why not? I feel like that would just be great. Because really, who else you putting up there? Nobody else is wanting to run, But we'll see what happens on that, And I got one final topic, and this is for my buddy here, okay? I have to say this because people know me. I watch a lot of movies. I do. If you asked me my hobbies, it's probably watching a lot of older movies, like 80s, 90s, maybe even early 2000s. A lot of today's movies I have to get really excited over, and sometimes it's hard. There's very few out there. The remake of Halloween, loved it, thought it was great. A lot of people had their opinions on it. I thought it was great. But an underrated movie that I'd never seen, and granted, look, I'm 38 years old. Okay, I'm an old man, whatever you want to call me. 1987, and thank you for recommending this, Raising Arizona. I actually call this my most underrated movie of all time. I think it was one of the funniest things I ever watched. I mean, you had Nicolas Cage and, of course, John Goodman there. And, it was classic. So if you've never seen that movie, you should watch, enjoy yourself. I am going to be watching probably one of the greatest cheese dick movies in my time, in my one of my favorite fighting movies. I'm going to find Best of the Best, and I'm going to watch that movie. Hopefully I can find that one here in my big collection. But, yep. That is all I have, folks. I am glad that you tuned in. If you can, subscribe, give me a like. Tell me your thoughts. Tell me if I left something out, because I've covered a lot of things, and I'd love to hear your opinions. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I'm out.